You're watching Retirement Talk with Eric Kearney, Southwest Florida's retirement television. He's an author, a radio host, a fiduciary, and Southwest Florida's premier investment advisor. Here is Senior Investment Advisor Eric Kearney.
Welcome to Retirement Talk with Eric Kearney. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, joined today by Eric Kearney and Joseph Lanza of Retirement Wealth Advisors. And to our viewers at home, as you know, that road to retirement can have many pitfalls. Well, your advisor should be helping you steer clear of some of those pitfalls when it comes to being on that road for retirement. What are some mistakes that you should avoid? We're going to do a deep dive into that today. You don't want to miss today's show. Eric, how are you today?
Good morning, Cynthia. I'm great. Thank you.
So good to see you. I love the suit.
Thank you.
Of course. And Joseph, how are you?
Fantastic. Thank you, Cynthia.
Good. And I must say, I love your suit. Green's my favorite color.
Thank you. I got it right today then.
I love it. Absolutely love it. Well, Eric, today's show, obviously, when people are transitioning into their golden years, leaving the workforce, if you will, there's a lot of emotions that take place. It can be overwhelming. It can be just, I don't know, a new world, if you will. So what really are viewers looking for when they're making this transition?
It is very overwhelming. You know, we're going from a busy work life. We were challenged. We're waking up and we had a full day ahead of us. And now all of a sudden we're like, well, now we're going into retirement and how do we do this? And, you know, a lot of times I can equate this to getting ready for a hurricane because there's actually 3 events towards a hurricane that are really pretty similar to our retirement. So basically, what we're really looking at is when we have a hurricane coming upon us in Southwest Florida, we've just gotten used to these things after a while. We realize that there's 3 events. There is the anticipation of the event, there is the actual event, and then there is the aftermath. So when we have a hurricane, we understand 7 to 10 days ahead of time that a hurricane is coming our way.
Sure.
It's the same thing with our retirement. We know when we're 58, 59, at some point, and sometime hopefully in our 60s, we want to retire, let's say 65. The anticipation of that event is when we should really be doing all the preparation.
Yes.
We should be strategic. We should come up with an income plan, a financial plan, and really start to be ready for that.
Yes.
And the better prepared we are, the better off you're going to get through the event. Then all of a sudden what happens is there is the actual event. The hurricane hits. Now all of a sudden it is upon us. Whatever we did to prepare hopefully will be enough to get us through that day. It's just like the day that we retire. Now all of a sudden we're putting our keys back in. We're picking up our box from our desk. We're leaving it. Maybe have a little bit of a retirement party. But now all of a sudden it is over. And this by far is the shortest part of these 3 different events. It's over. Now, all of a sudden, we have to deal with the aftermath.
Yes.
And the aftermath sometimes is the most crucial part because now, all of a sudden, you are depending on what we did before that event. So, in the aftermath, now you are hoping that in the anticipation of that event, we prepared correctly. And so, again, once we're retired, we have to know that we're well prepared into retirement. And so, again, after the event has occurred, you can still plan, but it's so much easier to do that beforehand. And a lot of times retirement, you only retire once. So it's not like, you know, hurricanes, we get smarter after each one. But retirement, we only retire once. So we really do have to get it right the first time.
Sure. And I've heard that people spend more time planning their vacations, Joseph, than their retirement. Is that true?
Yeah, I think a lot of people are always looking forward to something and they want to look at something in retirement and work towards that, but they should really be focusing on how are they going to get to that point? How can you factor in all those vacations, all those things that you want to do in retirement? Create a plan that is comprehensive, that encompasses all of those goals and dreams that you look forward to accomplishing in retirement.
Absolutely. And Eric, what about financial mistakes? What are some financial mistakes that people are making as they're preparing?
Yeah, so I think that people getting up to retirement are still thinking, oh, now I have to become uber conservative, right? And so they're going way too conservative. Meanwhile, inflation is roaring in. Taxes are still a huge issue. And so there's a lot of people that, you know, want to reduce their volatility, and I totally understand that, but you still have to have growth in the portfolio. Even if you retire, we still want to spend money.
Sure.
The other issue that we're finding a lot is where people have more loyalty to their advisor than they actually do their money or even their lifestyle. They say to me, Eric, you know what? It's very hard for me to make a change right now. Even though they're admitting they're not in the greatest financial position, I'm having a hard time leaving my advisor. That blows me away.
I know.
It blows me away. It's like, there was one gentleman who we met years ago. He goes, I go jet skiing with my financial advisor. What am I supposed to do? And he could tell that there was no financial plan, no income plan. I was like, well, have fun jet skiing, right? I mean, and so that's the other thing. So it's either being too conservative, not paying enough attention to it, or being way too loyal to your advisor, even though they may be dropping the ball.
And that alludes to the importance of getting a second opinion. I mean, I understand people feel tied to their advisor for emotional reasons, but if you're financially unsure, if you're in good shape, you need to have a second opinion. Am I wrong?
No, you're absolutely right. And you know what? It's no different when you go back to the hurricane, right? Now, all of a sudden that something happens, now you have to reevaluate where you are, reevaluate what resources do you have? Am I getting value from my advisor? Do I really feel like I have positive forward progression? And a lot of people are worried, but worrying does not take away tomorrow's troubles. It only takes away today's peace. And with financial planning, that is truly what people are looking for, is that financial peace.
Absolutely. Joseph, one of the other mistakes that I know you and Eric are seeing people make is that they are waiting too long to make a change, or they're procrastinating with their retirement planning overall.
Yeah.
Why is that? Why is it something that people kind of push off and say, I'll do it later, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it next month?
Right.
Why?
You know, I think as many people as there is that want to better understand their situation, there's a lot of people that are too afraid to do that deep dive into their situation as well. And it's kind of like when we're trying to lose weight and we're too afraid to step on that scale.
Yes.
It's like we know there's an issue at hand, but we don't have the capacity to deal with that issue yet. And that really is the definition of procrastination. I like to say it's like a credit card. It's a lot of fun until you end up getting that bill.
Right.
So, you know, I get it. We get busy with work, life, with children, and we put planning on the back burner, but then we almost start planning in reverse, where now we're seeing people are retiring and then they want to focus on financial planning. Where wouldn't it make more sense if during our working years we're focusing on that plan, so that way when we retire we can confidently say, I never have to go back to work again. Because one of the most valuable assets that every investor and retiree has is time, but you
Yes.
can never add more time to that plan.
That makes perfect sense. Well, Eric, we've all heard the story about the person who didn't have a plan for their retirement. That day came all of a sudden. They had such a routine that they got up that morning, they got in the shower, they got dressed, they drove their car to the front of the office where they used to work. They called and said, what do I do now? So planning for the financial piece is one of it, but what about also the hobbies that you should have, the purpose, before we take a commercial break?
Yeah, and this is actually something that we teach in the classes. So in the classes that we've been teaching lately, we've been ramping up these classes. They're an educational class. What it's doing is it's getting into the social aspect of that. And not only maybe you want to take care of yourself physically, but also mentally. How are you going to mentally prepare now for retirement? So there's a lot of things that you can fulfill your time, but we have to plan for that as well. What is our social life going to look like? What is our daily life going to look for? And how are we going to fill that time? And I think that retirement should be something that we're excited about and not feared. And I think there's too many people out there that fear retirement, and it really shouldn't be that way.
I agree. And Eric, you have a very special message to our viewers at home, and then we're going to take a commercial break. Let's talk about what the message is.
Yeah, sure. So everybody out there, thank you so much for watching. We've so enjoyed doing this show over the past 5 years. If you have any questions out there, you're looking for a second opinion, or you just don't feel right about your current financial situation, maybe you just have a pile of statements that you look at all the time and you have more questions than answers, give us a call today. Let's get that second opinion. Let's do that full-blown financial plan and that income plan. Give us a call today. We look forward to seeing you.
Eric, thank you so much. Joseph, thank you so much. To our viewers at home, that number to call is on your screen, 800-779-1942. We realize that you've been in the working years for so very long and that you're looking forward to having a happy and fulfilling retirement. This is your opportunity to have a plan designed that allows you to do just that. have peace of mind in your retirement. Again, that number is 1-800-779-1942. If you don't have a pen handy, that's okay. You can grab your smartphone, click on that QR code at the bottom corner of your screen. That will take you right to the landing page for Retirement Wealth Advisors, and you can claim your spot accordingly. You deserve it. You've worked very hard to get to the retirement years. We'll be right back with Eric and Joseph after this very short commercial break.
Hey everybody, we are back today with Donna Crone, certified financial planner with Retirement Wealth Advisors, who heads up our entire financial planning department. And today, Donna, we're going to be talking about inflation. Holy cow, it's still an issue. This has played a huge role in our entire life lately. Now, inflation's always been around, but now we actually see it in our food, healthcare, pharmaceuticals, maybe even our income plans. So Donna, actually, how do we combat this?
Eric, it's important that we understand the impacts of inflation. First of all, it's nearly always present, and it needs to be accounted for over a long period of time. Inflation is also not applied evenly. For example, healthcare and education can be significantly higher than inflation we see on other goods and services. Inflation is also not just about how we spend, but it's also how we save and invest. So it allows us the opportunity to employ investment strategies that can hedge against it. So Eric, inflation is a very important ingredient in a holistic and relevant financial plan because it can reveal to us strategies to mitigate the impacts of inflation.
It seems like people only care about the hot topic issues, right? So, I mean, if interest rates are tough, they're like, hey, how is this affecting me? Now, all of a sudden, inflation has been an issue, but really, we've been talking about inflation for a very, very long time.
Yes, we've always built it into the financial plan.
Right. Remember that inflation's always going to be an issue. So could stagflation or even deflation. So if you feel like inflation is an issue, give us a call today. Let's get your financial plan done. Let's see how it looks in your income plan, and let's see if we can get you a well-rounded second opinion. Thank you so much for watching. And Cynthia, back to you.
Welcome back to Retirement Talk with Eric Kearney. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, joined today by Eric Kearney and Joseph Lanza of Retirement Wealth Advisors. And we're talking all about preparing for retirement and how not to make mistakes on that beautiful road to your retirement. Eric, I love that we saw Donna again in that commercial. She's amazing. Let's spend some time talking about Donna at the office.
Yeah, so Donna Crone is, I mean, she really is a workhorse. She is a certified financial planner. She heads up our entire financial planning department. So when you come into our office, what people are craving is financial infrastructure. So again, we have different departments that you're going to see. And Donna is literally a certified financial planner. She writes all the financial plans and the income plans. So she's looking at your goals and objectives and doing a deep dive and analysis into all of this. And it really is a very powerful tool. And what it does is it allows you to stay ahead of your emotions because you're going back to the financial plan and the income plan and saying, oh, I am okay. There's always things that are going on around the world. It's a crazy world anymore.
True.
But let's focus on the financial plan and let's delete that emotion a little bit.
Absolutely. And I'm glad that you brought up emotion again, because that is such an important topic for us to talk about, especially when it comes to finances. Yeah. We all know that when you act out of fear or greed, it can be devastating, especially in the retirement years.
Right.
How do you help people combat emotions when it comes to finances?
Yeah, so this is a great question, Cynthia, and this is where we really get into deep dive behavioral thinking. You know, our brain is divided into two hemispheres, and you have the left side and you have the right side. The left side of the brain is for logic. It likes critical thinking. It likes analysis. It likes proof. It likes evidence. So when you take a look at a financial plan or an income plan, or any plan for that matter, the left side of the brain loves that. Then all of a sudden we take a look at the right side of the brain, and the right side of the brain is based on emotions and feelings. It is driven by experiences. So now all of a sudden, if we go way back in our life and we had student debt, and then we had a credit card that we ran up, and now all of a sudden we had credit card debt, and then we're trying to save for a home, and then maybe we had money, but we had to spend it on a medical issue and we lost all of that money. Maybe we had an investment early on in our life and we lost all of our money in that or didn't do so well in that. All of a sudden, as we get older, these financial experiences become emotions, and we start getting attached to those.
Absolutely.
And so as we get older, now all of a sudden we realize that the right side of our brain is really taking over. We watch the news 24/7, we look at
Yes.
social media, and now all of a sudden these feelings, experiences, and imaginations are being exploded,
Yes.
right? And now all of a sudden what we're trying to help our clients understand is, let's start to train the left side of our brain again. Let's stick with the financial plan. Let's stick with the analytics. There's all these tools at your disposal. And when you really take a look at a successful retiree or a successful business owner, you can see where they have trained the left side of their brain to be more analytic. This is what I want to pay attention to. And when it comes to men and women, that's where you do see a difference. Men are more analytic and women can be more emotional.
Sure.
And again, I am not trying to be stereotypical.
No, I know.
But the point is that that's what we see.
Sure.
And it's understandable too. Women are very nurturing.
Yes.
Men really are not, right? And that is really truly the difference. It doesn't make one better than the other. But what we have to do is we have to step in and delete the emotion, delete the volatility, delete the unpredictability in a financial plan. This is where a true financial advisory firm comes into play. So when people get serious about their finances, that's where they're coming into us and saying, okay, Eric, we want to process. I'm tired of being told I'm okay. I want proof that I'm going to be okay. I want analytics. I want data. I want evidence that I'm going to be okay. And that's where really the left side of the brain comes in.
Absolutely. And Joseph, how many times have you had people coming into the office for the first time and that fear takes over, that they bring you this huge pile of statements and they're like, I can't even open these. You do it.
Yeah, it's exactly like what I said before, where it's like they don't even want to step on that scale because they're
Yes.
so worried about what that number is going to be, or they don't even want to look at their accounts. You shouldn't be afraid of retirement. Retirement should be filled with doing all the things that you were waiting to do during your working years. That's why you got to this point. And that really is the ease of mind that we are trying to give our clients as well.
And that is just priceless. It really is.
Yes.
Eric, what about people in the retirement years that are focused only on rate of return?
Yeah.
Can that be devastating?
I think so, because you're only trying to power your way through retirement, right? And so when somebody calls us after the show or after the radio show, they're like, what's your rate of return, Ben? It's not a good financial planning client because they're completely missing the point. Look, rate of return, I'm not even going to talk about that today. That shouldn't be your issue. How strategic are you? You know, how powerful is the plan? How powerful is your income plan? How are you controlling taxes? And, you know, we talk about pickleball and tennis, two completely different things, by the way. You know, but I played tennis for quite some time. And when I came down here, they said, oh, you're going to play with a bunch of women down at the racket club. I'm like, oh, okay, you know, and I thought this would be pretty easy. So I would go in there with power, right? They returned strategy and whipped me all the time. And I was like, and I would walk out of there and I'd be driving out of the parking lot like this, you know, like in total shame, because it was strategy, not power. And so when you think about rate of return, you know, men pound it, more money, more money, more money. What they're really looking for is more security,
Yes.
right? And men don't want to say that, but we're really looking to provide for our family, our spouse. And there's a lot of men that come in and they say, Eric, you know what? I don't care if I live in a box, right? I could live in a box, eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I want to make sure that she's okay. I want to make sure that my family's okay. That's what financial planning really does. So again, rate of return is super important. It provides luxuries for you, more income, outpacing inflation, maybe doing Roth conversions. That's all great. And that really is Joseph and my forte is money management. I mean, we take it very seriously, but strategy is also a key component to all of this.
Absolutely. And Joseph, another mistake before we take the commercial break that comes up, but not having a detailed income plan. And the question is, how do I replace my paycheck?
Yeah.
Another mistake that people need to avoid.
Yeah, you know, retirement is an extremely big mental shift. I think a lot of people actually underestimate. You know, we're going from working 40 hours a week to now having 40 hours of free time. But we're also going from 30 to 40 years of socking money away into account to now having to live off of that money that we have been saving our whole lives.
Yes.
And if you're lucky enough to have a pension, well then congratulations, because majority of Americans do not anymore. In the 70s, 50% of people had availability to a pension. Today that number is down to 15%. So now Americans are having to use 401ks to save for retirement, and really the risk is all on you. You have to understand how much to contribute to that account every single year in order to get you to that point of retirement. And then once you get to that point of retirement, again, the risk is on you. You get a lump sum of money. How do you invest this money to fit your specific situation? How do you know how much you have to withdraw off of this account in order to be sustainable for the rest of your life? And it's very hard to answer those questions without the help of a financial plan and an income plan.
Absolutely, Joseph. Thank you so much. Eric, a very special message that you have to our viewers at home before we take a commercial break.
Yeah, everybody out there, if you're listening and anything resonates with you and you feel like I just do have a pile of statements and I do have more questions than answers about my retirement, give us a call today, 1-800-779-9142. Or if you're interested in the classes that we have, go to retirementwealthllc.com and sign up for one of our upcoming courses. It is fully educational, nothing is sold, and more than likely you're going to know more about your finances than ever before.
Eric, thank you so much. Joseph, thank you so much. To our viewers at home, that number to call is on your screen, 1-800-779-1942. We realize you're ready to embark on that road to your retirement and you want to avoid some of the mistakes that we're talking about today. Don't miss the opportunity to book that complimentary consultation by doing one thing, calling in to 1-800-779-1942. Grab your smartphone, click on that QR code. That will take you right to the landing page for Retirement Wealth Advisors, and you can schedule your time accordingly. We're going to take a very short commercial break. Don't go anywhere. We're talking about some common pitfalls that people make with their retirement planning. We have a few more to get through. Stay tuned.
What does your retirement look like? Is it filled with travel, spending time with family, uninterrupted rounds at the golf course? Or are you too worried to even think about your hopes and dreams? Eric and his team can answer your questions with a complimentary review of your retirement and income plan, and it all starts with getting to know you. They'll do exactly that by going over your current strategy to expose the weaknesses that may exist in your retirement portfolio. Plus, they'll explain potential risks and possible strategies to you in easy-to-understand terms and help get you reacquainted with your portfolio and income strategy. Once they understand your retirement goals, objectives, and dreams, they'll work to custom build a retirement plan to help ensure that you cannot outlive your income in retirement. Because every dream needs a plan. Call Eric today and schedule your visit. You only retire once, so let's get it right the first time.
Are you concerned about elections, corrections, and recessions? Yeah, me too. At Retirement Wealth Advisors, we're focused on you and your finances. If you're looking to reframe, restructure, and reimagine your wealth, give us a call today. Remember, you only retire once. Let's get it right the first time.
Retirement Wealth Advisors with Eric Kearney.
Welcome back to Retirement Talk with Eric Kearney. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, joined today by Eric Kearney and Joseph Lanza of Retirement Wealth Advisors. And we're talking about some common pitfalls that people make when entering the retirement years, and we want you to avoid those. Eric, this next one, what about healthcare costs and Medicare costs? How can you help a client better understand what issues they may be facing?
Yeah, so it's interesting. My parents were married for almost 60 years, and they had a pact, right? I'm going to take care of you, you're going to take care of me, and whoever gets sick, we'll take care of each other.
Right.
Well, my mom got the short end of that stick. So my mom ended up taking care of my father for a very long time, probably significantly longer than she really should have. And it started to wear on her and affect her. And what people really want today is to make sure that they're not a financial burden. They want to be independent, and they also want to keep their dignity intact. So, rising healthcare costs are unbelievable right now.
Yes, they are.
And so we have to be aware of how expensive it is. So we are literally running a different column in the income plan for healthcare expenses.
Okay.
And so it's bad enough that not enough people have an income plan. Now, all of a sudden, if they don't have an income plan, there's no way that they're actually counteracting the heavy effects and pricing of rising healthcare costs. So what we're doing is literally in one column, we're showing you at a 6% rate of inflation how expensive healthcare is.
Okay.
It's prescriptions, it's healthcare, it's surgeries, dental, we always talk about.
Yes.
And so it's all these expenses that come out of nowhere. The one thing is that through financial planning, you have to realize that something probably will eventually happen or eventually happen. So what we're doing is we are always preparing for the probabilities and eventualities of life. We want to make sure that you are more than prepared for a secular bull market as well as a secular bear market. How do we get through difficult times and still have that money to pay for healthcare, to pay for Medicare, and to have all the things that Medicare doesn't pay for?
Absolutely.
So we always talk about hearing aids, foot care, dental, massage therapy, so many things that are not covered by Medicare. And so people are kind of surprised about that too. So again, we have to factor that in, not only in the financial plan, but the income plan. And this is the one thing that I encourage people, Cynthia, is there's not enough people that have that available to you. But when you work with us, it is part of the process. It is part of the infrastructure. So again, if you're watching out there today and you have a lot of questions about it, give us a call today. Let us put you through the process. And believe me, we're investing in you first before you have to decide if you want to invest in us. There's no better deal out there.
I agree. Could not agree more. Joseph, another mistake that we're seeing people make, not having a trusted long-term financial relationship with a capable advisory team. That can be a critical mistake.
You know, whenever we're making a decision in regards to our finances, we're going to have some form of bias or emotion tied to that. Because we're human, that's completely normal. But that's where working with a fiduciary team of advisors can come into play. It's about having an unbiased resource who's going to listen to the problems, craft solutions using different tools and strategies, and then present multiple options to choose from. You know, working with a team of advisors is not necessarily about handing over the keys to your financial life either. It's about continuously learning how you're going to better improve your situation. It's also about having a team who's going to be looking 10, 20, 30 years down the line for your specific situation, help you identify any retirement issues you may have, and then provide some solutions for you to overcome those issues.
Okay. All right. Very, very important. And Eric, only a minute left of the show this week. But again, you and Joseph have a very special and timely message to present to the viewers before we say goodbye to them.
Right. So everybody out there, there's a lot of people that are procrastinating. And what you have to realize is that procrastination, when it comes to your finances, really is not a timing issue. It really is more of an emotional issue. So remember, if you are procrastinating, remember that an inch of movement is by far better than a mile of intentions. So if you have any questions out there, you want a financial plan, you want an income plan, or you want to take a look at your personal financial blueprint because you have so many questions about your current portfolio, give us a call today. We're standing by.
Eric, thank you so much. And Joseph, thank you so much. To our viewers at home, most specifically, we'd like to thank you for spending time with us today on Retirement Talk with Eric Kearney and Joseph Lanza. We appreciate that so much. And we know that your road to retirement can be a little scary if you don't have a trusted guide. This is your opportunity. 1-800-779-1942. Be safe, be happy, and be blessed. We'll see you next week.
Hey, Southwest Florida, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions after today's show, please give us a call.
Remember, you only retire once. Let's get it right the first time. Have a great week and an even better retirement.